we're, we're now into the 6th month of no wages, so it's not quite so funny.
Okay, okay. How have you been coping with everything that's been happening? Have you been homeschooling and all of that, or?
We did homeschooling for
Yeah.
Martin. I know my brother's a teacher, and he was saying that when there was the discussion of whether kids would go back to school in England, he was saying, of course they're going to vote for going back to school because parents are going to be absolutely desperate to get their children back to a paid babysitter, namely a school.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard work. We aren't very good teachers. I'm terrible, for example, at maths,
Okay.
grammar even. And so a school which should have lasted 3 or 4 hours a day would start with us bang on 9:15, and they'd be still crashing away at 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, it's for all of us who are not teachers. It's hard, isn't it? Have you got
Yeah.
kids?
No, no, no.
You were spared that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But have you always been an academic person, though?
I'm not an academic person.
But you went to Cambridge, didn't you?
Yeah, but I went to Cambridge because I was able to, and I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call I'm not an academic person.
Okay.
I think, although, I think as some clever old wag said, the university and education is wasted on the young. Love to do is go back and do it all again.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of the situation now at the moment? I mean, there are just so many graduates who are
Yeah.
just entering, well, they've been about to enter the market, and I really feel for all of those musicians and all of those singers who are just wanting work, and now it's just not able to happen. I mean,
It's very difficult to speak in a rational and sanguine manner
yeah.
when old lags like me will be okay. We will scrabble by. We've made our way in the world. We'll make it for just about a year. We will.
Yeah.
But when I think it's not just singers, when I think of the musical singers, the actors, the designers, the costume makers, the stage crews, the classical singers, they are utterly stuffed. And
Mm.
when I consider, I don't want to go on and rant about it, but I was listening to Radio 4 in March. I
Mm.
heard Mr. Hancock's talking about not helping any self-employed person in furlough because our situation was different and we don't know how much they've squirreled away. I just thought, what planet does he live on? Like, he doesn't know what a freelance life is.
Mm.
No freelancer. You show me a freelancer under, say, 40 years old who's got a pension, and I'll show you hen's teeth. No one has.
Mm.
But we don't have PAYE, we don't have pensions, and those poor singers and performers, not just singers, that you refer to, surely they had the right to the same courtesies as everybody else. Nobody was asking for a handout. This incredible, wonderful furlough system, wonderful, and it was really intended well. But to leave the arts so high and dry, and for so long, and still now have no intention of helping any self-employed person is simply sickening, actually, because those youngsters who have gone to the wall now, they had every right to the same courtesies and the same offers that everyone else did. The arts is a massive business, as you know. The
Yeah.
arts provide something like
It's like 23 billion or something like that, isn't it?
something like 11 billion to the exchequer, another 23 billion,
Yeah.
another 460,000 employed, 2 billion in taxes, and something like almost double the amount that football gives to the exchequer.
Mm.
Why are we not big business too? It's baffling.
Mm.
Anyway, enough of that, because it's kind of like the arts in a good time. My masters, the librettists, in the operas, when you get down to it, the socio-political issues that are discussed, nobody in the audience likes to have a finger wagged at them and moralized to. And so the messages of many of these great operas that people in Britain seem to dislike so much are actually disguised so beautifully under a cloak of custom that actually the moral tale is there for anybody who has the wit to see it. Same now in these difficult times. Nobody wants hectoring performers shouting at the radio. It doesn't get us anywhere. But nevertheless, it is pretty repugnant what the government had done to us all.
Some...
The institutions and bricks are one thing. People's lives matter, but not to the government, apparently.
And I think that it is a bit of a shame, because I think that we have a Prime Minister and we have a government who, I think the vast majority of them don't really understand the value of the arts. And I think that on the one hand, some people are saying, well, you artists and musicians, it's your fault for, wanting to enter this industry. You knew what you were letting yourself in for. But then on the other hand, I think that still there are a lot of people who maybe don't necessarily understand that having a career in the arts and in the music, it is a viable option. And I mean, obviously you're an example of someone like that.
Well, of course it's a perfectly viable career.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, on one hand, you can't not give furlough or help to a massive tranche of British society, which represents some of the best facets of Great Britain abroad and its image abroad and its economy, by the way. You can't say you're not entering a viable industry when we provide them with £11 billion.
Yeah, if not
That's
more.
nonsense for a start. And if you're going to turn around and help people who have holiday homes or businesses, why would you not consider the arts as it clearly is? It's a nonsense. It's a non-starter as an argument. You're right, though. The government don't understand anything about the arts. And I think more to the point, I don't think they care.
Yeah.
If they cared, they would have done something. They have no intention of helping us all.
Yeah.
We better get on and help ourselves. I don't know what else you can do.
It's okay for them to open the pubs earlier and for the streets of Soho to be totally crowded, but it's not viable to perform in a concert hall where it's maybe the risks are lower. I just find the whole situation a little bit preposterous.
I think if you've been to any performance of anything, you'd realise, point number one, this business about spitting and all this, which is a red herring, we are 10 metres away from the audience anyway.
Exactly.
We're miles away from anything, for a start. Secondly, on what planet is it, on what basis is the advice given that in a pub, the plosives, when people are speaking and shouting, are any less dangerous than when you're singing on a stage?
Exactly.
Thirdly, my own singing teacher used to hold a candle right in front of my mouth or a mirror, and right about within 6 inches, and if the candle flame moved, he's saying your support is not right. When you're singing in our world fully, there's no more air coming out than there is less than when you're talking. If I had a candle in now, it would blow it out. But that's not the point, because then you get into a yes it is, no it isn't argument. Once you've got somebody who's a doctor advising the government, but they're the people who are being listened to, so there's no point. There's a beautiful line in Verdi's opera Falstaff. Whomsoever cannot overcome his fate had better accept it with a good grace. Now, I'm not saying we should accept our fate. We think we should fight and protest a lot, actually, now. We have some good, strong allies in that respect. But especially for the youngsters, I'm not talking about people like me, youngsters. And actors and musical singers, they're not paid much money. They're not paid, and it's not elitist. They're people who had a vision, and they're in an industry that provides this country with